It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey everyone, it's Gary K and
Steph Beckett.
We are here live for rAVe TV, and this is the industry's only live TV show coming to you every Wednesday. No matter where we are, we come to you every Wednesday at noon Eastern. So that means depending on where you are, you get to see us if you're on the West Coast at 9 a.m. If you're in Europe, you're seeing us at 6 p.m. for most of Europe, and you got the UK at 5 p.m., all that kind of stuff. But we're on ravepubs.com, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and then we're also on Twitter still. Unless we get shut down from Twitter, we're there.
Exactly. So yeah. That's where we are, and that's where you're watching from, hopefully. So welcome to our show. Gary, where are you currently?
I am at a co-working space in New York City. I'm speaking tomorrow at an event that Planar is doing for their New York show in their New York showroom. I'm gonna do a sneak peek of my crystal ball. I'm only gonna talk about 4 or 5 things from my crystal ball.
Yeah,
but I'm doing it tomorrow. But
that's cool.
You're back.
Awesome.
You're back home. You were in Orlando, right?
I was. Well, Altamont Springs, technically, for those who are, knowledgeable about Florida. But yes, it was very good. One of my best friends is pregnant, and she and her husband just bought a house, so I got to go see their new house and see. And her baby shower was over the weekend, so I got to attend that. It was great. She and her husband were my roommates when I lived in New York City, so it's been very special to get to continue that friendship, and that it's great that we've stayed close over the years.
That is awesome. And
what are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I just went into like a zone or something. I'm actually trying to screen share something to benefit our producer Carrie back there, and it flipped into something else. So sorry about that.
That's okay. I was just like,
so now, did you go to any of the parks while you were there, or did you just hang out?
I just hung out because she's super pregnant. She's 3rd trimester pregnant. So the last thing she wanted to do was go hoof it around Disney. So I was kind of on their time this weekend. So it was really relaxing. We didn't do a ton. A lot of time was just spent we went and picked out a Christmas tree and put up the tree in their house and just spent time together. We caught their oven on fire on accident.
On accident. Is it okay?
So everything's fine. They have a fire extinguisher. We put it out, but it was really good. Yeah, nothing crazy. Didn't go to Disney, but we went to some restaurants, and her baby shower was probably the biggest thing we did while I was there. But it was just mostly just spent hanging out and appreciating being around each other, because we don't get to spend that much time together that often. So it was really good.
Well, New York City, I'll tell you, everything seems to be back to normal here. I don't see anything different than what I did before.
I've heard it's back to being bustling. Are you going to be back in time for our holiday party, Gary?
I will be back. I come back Friday at noon, so I'll definitely be there unless there's some problem. But we should talk about some of the other things that are going on in the industry now. So we should first talk about and remind everyone that we have ISE. I just had a conference call this morning with one of our clients over there that's going to be showing some new stuff at ISE. LG, they're going to be debuting some new stuff at ISE. And of course, ISE is going to be in Barcelona this year, 2nd year in Barcelona. And you can get a free pass by just going to click that QR code right there, scan that QR code, whatever, picture that QR code. And then that will take you to a link where you can get a free pass by using the code rAVE Europe. You get a free pass to ISE, and you can join us over in Barcelona. It's going to be the biggest show they've had since 2019. It'll probably beat the 2020 numbers.
For sure.
Which were down too. So I
don't
think it'll be
excited.
Completely back to normal, but it'll be pretty close to it, I think.
Right. I'm so excited. Gary, you're going to really like Barcelona, I think.
Yeah, I've been to Barcelona, but not in and around a show. So I'm looking forward to like what that's like, and I'm looking forward to not being freezing cold the whole time.
Yeah, that's always Amsterdam is built different in that way for sure. So I'm excited. I love ISE. It's one of my favorite shows. I just feel like it's got everything. So I am definitely looking forward to providing coverage. We're going to be doing some different coverage this time, and kind of
we're going to be doing a little
live. More. Yeah, a lot of coverage, a lot of hands-on. It's going to be
great.
We're
going to call it Beta Live. I think we're calling it Beta Live because we're going to see how it goes. That's right. We're going to do a lot more live. That's the hope. And, a lot of that depends on bandwidth, right? Just like, all of our electronic devices. But so the
plan is a lot of live content, which is very exciting.
And the week, 2 weeks after ISE, we will have ISE replay. But then a couple of weeks after that, or I should say about a month after that, we'll have launch week 7, our 7th launch week. Very excited to have announced that a couple of weeks ago.
That like blows my mind because I like still remember our first one like it was yesterday.
Yep. And you can register now for launch week 7, believe it or not. You can scan that QR code that's on the screen and sign up for launch week 7. We'd love for you to do it. Or you can go to launch.com, LAVNCH.com, but scan that QR code and register for launch week 7. It's I can't remember the exact dates, but it's somewhere around the middle to end of March. Is that right, Steph?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact date.
I think it's like March 6th through 9th. Yes. Thank you,
so it's the beginning of March, 6th through 9th. So a couple of weeks after replay, you'll have launch week 7. And, we'll have a lot of, we have a couple of brands that will not be at ISE that will be using launch week to launch some new products. So we are excited about that. And we want you to register. So, yeah. And by the way, we have at least one surprise guest today. Scott Tyner is going to be on, who's been a columnist of ours for many years. He also runs AV for Bates College, and we'll talk to him about an article that he recently wrote. But before we do that, we have some news stories, right, Steph?
We do. So, Gary, tell me a little bit about Ross Video's new product.
So, as you know, Ross is, they are big in the video production space, and they have a new product specifically for AV over IP that allows you to do 12G matrixing and distribution of sort of like production level quality signals across a network. And obviously in our world, that is a lot of corporate production and higher education production. Pretty much we can ask Scott this question today, but I suspect most higher education facilities are looking at AV over IP top to bottom, whether it be in the production side using SMPTE 2110, which is what Ross Video is doing, all the way down to the classroom potential as well, because AV over IP provides the ability to have a little bit more flexibility with your signals and actually expand classrooms really easily. So, for example, we have a building, as you know, Steph, you graduated from UNC. We have a building that's AV over IP, and we can actually send any of the content from any of the classrooms to any of the other classrooms by just dragging and dropping it on a user interface. And before that, you would have to install a matrix switcher, and you'd have to do a bunch of fancy switching with a control system. Now you just log into a web interface, and you just drag and drop it to the room you want it to go to. And the professor magically and his or her content magically all appears in whatever classroom you want it to. And the other thing about AV over IP eventually is it's going to provide the ability to just pull that content up on a web browser. So there's a lot of potential in this kind of stuff. So Ross, obviously on the production side. So if you're doing broadcast production or you're doing in-house production, you might be interested in the Ross product. But another company that made an announcement this week is Draper. Draper actually did some shuffling around.
That's quite a big announcement, because with their new restructured sales team, Draper is like kind of committing to focusing this sales team on the Pro AV market, which is big.
Yeah,
Draper has kind of always had kind of like a hand in each pot as it is. So it's interesting that the sales team is focusing solely on Pro AV.
Yeah, and of course led by Kevin Barlow, who I've known for many, many years. And he's just a great guy. And, they've got some, great leadership there at Draper. But, Draper makes everything from basketball goals for gyms all the way to everything Pro AV and home AV. So, but yeah, this is a restructuring inside the Pro AV segment of the market. You can see that story in all of our stories by scanning that QR code or going to ravepubs.com. And then other stories, it happens to be one of our sponsors too, but Aver, a different division of Aver Information, they introduced the VB342, or they said they're shipping now the VB342 video bar. And
it actually has a Zoom certification or exactly. Zoom hardware certification.
Exactly. So we actually shot a video of this. I think we shot this at E4 if I'm not wrong. It could be CD, I can't remember, or maybe it was Infocom. Is one of those three shows, I can guarantee you that. Yeah. Infocom. Okay, we shot a video of this product because this is a product that you can use for attaching to a collaboration board that's going to be mobile, but also use it in a meeting room. So check this video out.
Everybody, my name is Carl Harvell. I'm the Director of Product over here at Aver USA. And at Infocom 2022, we're going to show off our VB342 Pro. It's our third generation of VB342 video bars. It has a 3.3 optical zoom lens that allows you to get up to about 35 feet away. So it's designed for medium conference rooms. It's got 10 microphones built within it with audio tracking capabilities, smart framing capabilities, presentation tracking capabilities. This connection right here has a single USB cable that goes to the back of it. An HDMI cable using DisplayLink connected up to the monitor. So somebody coming into their conference room could plug in one USB cable, make use of the camera, microphone, and speakerphone along with the monitor connection for a great BYOD setup. If you want more information on it, please come to our website at averusa.com.
Well, as promised, we said that we would have our columnist Scott Tyner on today. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Gary and Steph, for having me here. I always love it. I always love the excitement of sitting backstage, watching all the technical stuff going on.
Yes, well, it's honestly like so much goes into this that you like would not imagine,
Yeah, and I had to help with the lineup. Usually Steph graciously does all that, and I did not do as good of a job as Steph. So we're having some technical difficulties because I waited to the last minute. But I will tell you that we're glad that you're here, Scott. And I want to talk to you about the article that you wrote on our website. But before I talk about that, I want to ask you about AV over IP. What's Bates College's plan with AV over IP? And we'll get to that article in just a second. But what's Bates College's plan for AV over IP? Are you implementing it already? Are you planning it? What are your thoughts?
We're looking at it. I think one of the struggles we have with AV over IP, and I think a lot of educational institutions have this, particularly the smaller ones, is putting this on your network requires this deep understanding of it across the network. And there's this fear, and AV people have this a lot of, what if something goes wrong? What if the network goes wrong? But this has been happening as we increase technology over the years, right? 20 years ago, you could teach a class without power. Today, you can't teach a class without the network. But certainly as you get into bigger schools and bigger presentations, that ability you talked about, Gary, of being able to just take video and put it anywhere or get video from anywhere is definitely the thing to do. And more AV people are knowledgeable IT. And so we're going to
if you had to rebuild, like if someone said to you, okay, it's time we need to re-upfit all these rooms, would you go AV over IP now, or are you still a little afraid of it?
I think we'd probably do it. If somebody said you can start from scratch and we can give you the training and the knowledge and bring your network team in and make sure they can do it, I think we would. It feels like a natural progression.
Yeah. So let's talk about your article, because you pointed out a glaring hole in our industry, and a lot of tech industries have this, but specifically we've noticed it in our industry, and you titled it Creating Future AV Tweaks. Talk about sort of what you're noticing out there and what you're concerned about.
Well, I think there's this discussion that happens quite a bit. How do we get new people into the industry? And how do we get new people into the industry? And a lot of what we talk about is trades or trade schools. And can we have a track in that? Can we get people to learn about the CTSI or CTSD? One of the things I've always loved about my job is that it's like Christmas every day. I open the coolest, fanciest, fun technology. And I think, we have to start showing people that. And when I think of, part of what I wrote about was interns, and I think about some of the work you all have done with interns and bringing them to a trade show and seeing that trade show floor, it shows what our industry is really about.
It's true.
But the other one I always say to people when they had this discussion goes on is, okay, there's a wide variety of people in AV. What are you looking for? When you say, let's bring new people on, what are you looking for? Because I think a lot of them, what they're really talking about is your installers. And that's where they're having a hard time, is getting people into the installation field. And so I think showing them the excitement of it, showing them what trade shows look like. You can build these cool presentations that show on the sides of buildings or conference rooms or classrooms. It is an exciting, incredible industry. And so showing people that, I think, is really important. I don't think that we're ever going to have a track at a community college that is an AV track. That doesn't feel like something that's going to happen to me.
But at the same time, young people, a lot of them don't even know our industry exists. When I talk to people my age and I'm like, oh, I work for an agency in the AV space, they're like, huh? So I think part of it is showing up to, even colleges that you might not consider that are not necessarily trade colleges. You've got to kind of, I think that a lot of manufacturers and other companies, if they want to bring in young people, need to start thinking outside the box of how to bring in young people. Because they're not just going to show up.
Every college in the world, or every college in the country, has a some type of workforce development department, right? Some type of department that works on getting people jobs when they get out. Just like when we were in high school, we had people come visit us for college. People go visit those groups. And so you've got to bring it. You've got to bring exciting things, exciting projects. You show somebody image mapping. That's really cool. And you can say there's science involved, there's physics involved. There's all kinds of stuff involved in this. Get out there, talk to them about it. Because I think you're right, Steph. I half joke sometimes that people in my family would say today that I program VCRs. They have no idea what the AV field is, right?
Yeah, my dad says I don't know live stuff, writing, Zoom. So that's what my dad thinks I do. In that order. But yeah, I mean, I really think you made a lot of really great points in it. And you mentioned that Crestron is actually really good in their recruiting practices, and that maybe other manufacturers can take note. But I really do think we're gonna have to start stepping outside the box in terms of recruiting. I mean, Gary's done a really good job about that, about bringing in journalism students and encouraging them to hey, come to this trade show, you could make a career out of it. And some people have. So I really think that that's going to be the future of bringing young people in, is step one, letting them know we exist.
And a lot of that social media, whether Twitter for, we all know what Twitter stands, but LinkedIn, lots of college seniors are on LinkedIn. Their career development offices are encouraging them to do it. TikTok, showing the work you're doing. And I think at Crestron, right, one of the reasons I know about Crestron is they publicize themselves so much on LinkedIn with the work that colleges see that and reach out to them and say, hey, come and talk to our students.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's the key. It isn't going to fix itself without us who are in the industry getting involved in introducing our industry to other people. And that's how we got most of the people that work at rAVe, including staff. So that's what happens. But well, look, Scott, thanks for joining us, and appreciate everything you do for us and for the industry. And with I'm sure that Bates is going to have you're going to have a little bit of time off here, but a lot of people think that the holiday season is easy for AV people, and it is most of the AV people, but not in the university community, because this is when we can get back in the classrooms and fix things and tidy things up, and then also update things. So you'll be busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is the take off the Band-Aids and do the surgery on the rooms type of season.
Oh,
yep. Well,
best of luck
we already,
to
yeah, and we already showed a video from one of our sponsors, Aver. Let's take a look at what's going on with with Shure because they're another one of our sponsors. We have 3 sponsors, and let's look at a message from Shure.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Chris Lyons with Shure. When I'm on a conference call, I devote my full attention to whatever is being discussed. Okay, that's not true. I normally am multitasking, and I often forget to mute my microphone. Yes, I'm that guy. Fortunately, IntelliMix Room DSP software has a feature that is designed to deal with people like me. It's called the AI denoiser, and it gets rid of common random room noises that can easily disrupt your meeting audio. I really don't know how it works. I think we reverse the polarity of the phantom power or something like that, or maybe it's digital. I don't know. But the point is, it works. Now, if I'm in a meeting, I like to click my pen. It kind of helps me think. So if I start clicking my pen, it might be disruptive and heard by the people on the other end of the call. But the denoiser knows how to take out the clicking of the pen and not disturb my voice. I like to look smart during a meeting, so I type on my keyboard a lot. People think that I'm taking notes or sending an important email, but I'm really not. Here's my pro tip for looking more productive. If you have one of those keyboards that's really quiet, doesn't make much noise, just type extra loud so it draws more attention to it. Now, of course, the denoiser can tell the difference between the keyboard clicking and the sound of my voice. So it gets rid of the keyboard, but it leaves my speech where it should be. Send. Probably the most annoying thing I do during meetings is eat. Now, I like meetings where they bring in pizza, but I try to keep some snacks around my desk just in case that there's, a meeting that runs long and they don't have any food. And so, fortunately, with the denoiser on, it takes care of all that noise. And I don't have to worry about crunching chips or cookies or anything else. Sometimes it's actually pretty difficult to get these bags open. You would think they make them easier. But once I've got a snack ready, then I can go 2, 3, 4-hour meeting, no problem. The denoiser is included with IntelliMix Room DSP software. If you're already using IntelliMix Room, just upgrade to the latest version and you'll have it. And then you don't have to worry about being that person.
I always like watching that. The key thing people might say, well, you play that video a lot. It's funny how many people don't realize how this technology works, and they appreciate the fact that he's explaining it. And there's not just new audio technology, but new video technology as well. And one of the brands that is sort of pioneering, sort of solving some of the meeting equity problems out there is D10. I know that you had a chance. I think actually you saw this before me. The inclusive view feature of D10 that's now available on everything that they make basically. And I want to show give me just a second here. I want to show a clip of how this actually works, because there's some magic behind it and there's some logic behind it as well. So this is a video that I shot. Actually, it's an interview video. So Emily actually shot it while I was doing an interview. But this is the D10Me Pro. All right. So as I zoom in on this, notice that there are 3 cameras there, Steph. Do you see that? Can you tell that from this? There's 3 cameras.
2 right here and 1 in the middle.
Correct. And so what they use that for the inclusive view feature is on the far side. It allows us to break the meeting room into 3 separate quadrants, which means that on the far side, for those people that are remote, and we could take that screenshot, the people who are remote, they're going to actually see facial views of each person like you do normally in Zoom and Teams. So this solves half of the meeting equity problem, because people who are remote can see the facial expressions. It doesn't solve the other half of those people who are live seeing those that are remote. And that's the half that we have not nailed yet.
Figured out.
We haven't figured it out. There's a way to do it though. Well, I'm writing an article about it now that I'll publish in rAVe Pubs, but ultimately we've got some work to do left in our industry, but that inclusive view feature is now available on all the D10 products, including the collaboration board. And while you were out, Steph, Panasonic introduced a bunch of new monitors too. I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
Oh, no. Tell me about them.
So Panasonic has some new monitors. They're sort of making a bigger play in the digital signage space. And you can scan that QR code to see the article. Oh, there you go. There's the article there. But obviously, there's two different series of products. They're all LCD, obviously, all native 4K, just like all of them are nowadays. But some are made for video wall applications, and some are made for traditional signage and meeting room applications. But Panasonic is sort of like, hey, we're still out here, because a lot of people have forgotten, especially with the success that Sony's had recently, Sharp NEC's had, and Samsung and LG. Panasonic's kind of gotten lost there. So they've got some new products out there. Panasonic still does have the best esports product on the market in the Kairos switcher, which I really love. But another thing that happened while you were out was that Q-SYS, which used to be, everyone knew QSC as QSC, getting into
but they've
the
kind
control
of like
system
deviated.
market.
Yeah.
Well, they got in the control system market with a line called Q-SYS, but now they have a company called Q-SYS. It's spun out the company separately, and Q-SYS actually now basically has a partner program where brands can now get certified to be sort of plug and play with the Q-SYS control system. So this sets them up to be the number 3 control company now. Now AMX, as you saw last week on their video release call that you were on, they are saying we're still here, we're still in the control market.
We still do control, yeah.
But I'm going to bet that Q-SYS is probably selling more and integrating more control systems now than AMX. I would say that AMX is the number 4 provider now, behind Crestron and Extron. So, and Q-SYS is number 3. So it's interesting. And of course you have Kramer out there as well. They're definitely number 5 or number 6. But a lot of stuff happening in the market recently. And, by the way, we should probably also acknowledge Legrand as a sponsor as well. Steph, what do you think?
Yes, I do think we should. So Legrand, just letting you guys know, Legrand wanted us to talk about the Chief Voyager mobile cart, it's pretty compact. It's a mobile display solution. It supports a lot of things like conferencing, collaboration, and even digital signage. It includes built-in cable management, small device storage. So it's very easy, very movable, comes in both black and white. It has camera and speaker mounts. So it's pretty much got everything that you can think of, including being able to do both like portrait and horizontal display. So if you are looking for a kind of mobile collaboration solution, definitely scan the QR code and check it out. And once again, we are very grateful to our friends at Legrand for sponsoring rAVe TV.
And putting collaboration boards on a cart that moves around is a great idea, because they should not be mounted to the wall. I've said that many times. They should not be mounted to the wall.
Yeah, you said that a million. Like, I wish I had $1 for every time you've said that.
Yeah, I think conceptually it's an interesting concept.
Yes. And
maybe if you have a huddle space. But even then, I would argue you should put it on a cart and make it where you can use it other places in the building. So anyway, one last story, Steph. We have a bunch of companies in our industry that have all been on the rental staging side and sort of like little known companies out there for many, many years. And one of the stories that's on our website now is you wrote up the story about Disguise. Yes. So Disguise is in the XR technology space. So they do virtual sets, technology that allows you to take big media servers, right? So we're allowed to take all this content and put it on very high resolution displays with, hundreds of millions of pixels, not just millions. And they actually have, if you're interested in getting into that space, they actually have a program where you can learn online and get certified to use their product. And so this is a big up and coming segment of the market. And I think that if you want to look at a different segment of the market that has been, up till now, they've mostly used these kind of things for like large company launches or projection mapping. Projection mapping is another popular. But now with XR sets and XR production, you're going to see companies like Disguise grow. So if any of those companies are public, it might be a good time to buy some stock, because this is the very beginning of that market. But if you want to learn about that, go to their website, disguise.com, and you can sign up. Well, just scan the QR code and you can sign up for their learning system, which is absolutely free.
I think it's like disguise.one. Is that their technical website?
Oh, you may be right. Maybe disguise.one.
I think
you can scan that QR code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I think that has been our show. Gary, thank you so much for planning this week while I was absent. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And next week we'll have some behind the scenes photos and footage maybe of our holiday party, especially depending on what we're serving.
Depending. Yeah, we'll see. But yes, we'll see y'all next week. Thank you so much for tuning into rAVe TV. We appreciate you. Be sure to keep watching noon Eastern every Wednesday from wherever you would like, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.